Hi, this is Bill Hartzer, and today I'm talking about SEO and domain names and new TLD research and testing. A little bit about me. I am an SEO consultant for Hartzer Consulting. I have been blogging for well over 10-15 years on billhartzer.com. I'm the founder of DFW SEM, and I am a brand ambassador for Majestic and OnCrawl. I've been practicing SEO and natural SEO since 1996. I have also been the Senior Vice President of the Rice Interactive, a Senior SEO Strategist at GlobeRunner, Director of SEO in the agency world. So why do websites rank well? We're going to discuss that today, as well as why websites have difficulty ranking. Talk a little bit about search engine crawling and indexing, because that's a very important issue now. Mention jump-starting your search engine rankings and search engine ranking process, and then discuss some results of some recent January 2020 TLD research and SEO testing. So why do websites rank well? Well, we've got to start, and we got to make sure that they're search engine friendly. Why do websites rank well? Well, they're crawlable and indexable. Pages can be found by links on the website. We need to be able to have there must actually be a link from the home page to other pages on the site. And pages need to be available to website crawlers. So you can see Googlebot, which is Google's search engine crawler, that actually has a schedule. If you didn't know that there's actually several different types of crawlers that Google uses at different times of the whole process of evaluating pages. Another reason websites rank well is because they load quickly. Page load speed is a search engine ranking factor. I can tell you just based on personal experience, the faster your page loads, the more potential traffic you can receive. You can check your page load speed of any URL on mobile and desktop. I'm using tools like Page Speed Insights by Google, GTmetrix, or webpagetest.org. Sites rank well also because they have a good user experience, web design, they're mobile friendly. Here's an example specifically of two sites that have what we call responsive web design. They look good on a desktop version, which is on the right, and also a tablet and a mobile version as well. We need to have links from trusted, authoritative websites. Majestic in particular, majestic.com, actually has a list of the most trusted websites based on trust and based on authoritativeness, essentially. The more trusted a link or a website is that has a link to your website, the better. It's not just about links, though. It's also about having good content and having enough content. Because here's an example. You have enough content on this page. As you can see on the bottom left, we have the jump to section of this page. This is a little mini table of contents for the amount of content that's on this page that's ranking well for this particular keyword. As you can see in the top right, it has what we call the featured snippet, which is the #1 ranking for that particular phrase. And one of the reasons is because it has enough content that Google thinks that it should be featured, that it's the best result of that particular keyword phrase. But it's not about just throwing content on a page. It's also about optimizing that content. It's using SEO best practices, which are using traditional HTML markup. Looking at pages, here's a tool on the left-hand side here that shows different heading tags, H3s, H4s, H1s, H2s, image tags, bold, italic, ordered lists, unordered lists. We need to actually use those in our code. We can actually have an even additional benefit by adding schema markup. And I'll mention schema markup in a little bit later. But ultimately it comes down to websites rank well because of the content, because the content actually matches the search query and the search intent of that user. Now we're at a point where we need to look a little bit further beyond just keywords and understand when they search for a keyword, when the user searches Google or any search engine for that matter and puts in a keyword, let's understand the intent because of that particular searcher. Why do websites have difficulty ranking? They have difficulty ranking because of the fact that they're really not using best SEO practices, SEO best practices. I'm still seeing websites that are just stuffing keywords, just throwing keywords here or there or anywhere on the page just because they can actually get that keyword on the page and that's what they want to rank for. Poorly written metadata. Poorly written metadata, like metadata is title tags, meta description tags, any other typical data. If we're not using headings and lists and bulleted lists, unordered lists, actual numbered lists, tables, and we're just not implementing the HTML markup properly. Websites need to be crawlable. We need to think about the overall internal link structure. How many pages and which pages are linking to which pages on the website? Think about this particular graph here is showing which web pages are linking to which web pages. Pages loading slowly, large image sizes, lots of resources, meaning that there's a lot of different things going on. Those pages loading slowly. Here is an example of lingscars.com, one of my favorite websites to view, but at the same time there's so many things going on. That there's, it's such a bad user experience that I like the website. It also comes down to violations of search engine guidelines. You're doing things on your website or even using link techniques that are violating the guidelines. You violate guidelines, there's most likely their algorithm is going to pick it up, or at the same time, you're going to have an issue at the same time with pages that are spammy. Websites have difficulty ranking when there's either a lack of links or a lack of trusted quality links to the website. In this case, there's 22 million links pointing to the site, but there's zero trust. None of these links are very good links. They're just bad links. There's ways to get around this, either remove the links or we can disavow links with the search engines. Again, search engine crawling and indexing, all pages must be linked on the site. We can't have necessarily, orphaned pages, which, sure, orphaned pages, which are pages that are not linked from the main website. They're just a page maybe from an old web design out there. They can still rank, but they can rank better if they're linked from the rest of the website. Search engine crawling and indexing. That's one of the biggest factors right now that we have to get past. We can't rank a website if pages are not getting indexed and crawled properly. Remember, a good site structure is key. Think about which pages and which sections of the site are linking to which sections. On the left-hand side, we have kind of this theme pyramid where the home page is on the top, and then we have category pages and subcategory pages, and then sub-subcategory pages, or even keyword pages. I'm not a really big fan of mega menus where every page links to every page. We need a defined structure on the website. XML sitemaps. XML sitemaps are literally just that. Is a sitemap. Is actually not necessarily a map, but it's actually a list of all the pages on the site. That's it. It does help search engine crawlers and find new pages. And they will read, you can get pages indexed, but they won't help rankings. You actually have to have links from other websites, and you actually have to have links to the pages and through your site structure. As I'll tell you in a few minutes about recent search engine testing and indexing, but in fact we actually have to verify our site in Google Search Console. It's gotten to the point where we actually need to use one of these techniques to actually verify the site. We can't get pages indexed. It's difficult to get pages indexed without having the site verified in Google. And in fact, we have not, in some cases, verified a site in Bing, in Bing.com, Bing Webmaster Tools, and that site does not have pages indexed either. We actually need to verify our site in Bing Webmaster Tools and tell them to go crawl the site. We can actually, once we have it verified, we can actually see crawling and indexing issues. If we have 227,000 pages of our site that are excluded, and we only have 72,000 pages, there may be an issue. Why are these pages actually not getting crawled? They may be getting crawled, but why are they not getting indexed? Why are they been discovered and not crawled yet? There's so many different crawling and indexing issues we can see in Google Search Console. But let's jumpstart the ranking process. The first thing I would do, take the time to make sure your website is fast and search engine friendly. Work on getting quality trusted links, maybe social media mentions. BuzzSumo, in fact, is shown here on the left-hand side. It shows you which content has the most engagement on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Reddit, has links, and so forth. You can use Majestic and Ahrefs.com to actually see the links to a website or to specific pages. When it's appropriate, add some additional schema markup. If you have a FAQ page, or if you want to add additional content and a frequently asked questions page, you can actually add FAQ page schema to your site. You can also add other types of schema like web page and article schema. It all just helps jumpstart this search engine ranking process. When it comes down to it, though, we actually have to verify our site, and once the site is verified, we need to manually submit our pages, or at least one page of the website, in Google Search Console. This is the URL inspector tool, URL inspection tool, as we call it. And actually, you just literally just put in the URL and you ask them to request indexing. If you have made changes to the page, you can go ahead and go back to Google Search Console and request that they re-index the page. Let's move on to a little bit to some lessons learned from recent TLD and SEO testing. In January 2020, the beginning of January 2020, We set up 10, 15 test websites on 15 different TLDs. The sites are actually listed here on the right. NOCSEMAN.icu.top.xyz.site.club.online.vip.com.net.org.de.co.uk.co.london and .in. We set up 25 pages of unique content per website for a total of 375 pages, and we focused on one keyword per site. Even though we used the test NOCSEMAN for each one of these, we had even another unique keyword for each of these websites that we tracked. We registered all the domains, which is Names Con spelled backwards, and that one main keyword, NOCSEMAN. And I still, to this day, have not figured out how to pronounce it. The results. 2 of the websites, their languages were determined by the TLD. The .co site was immediately considered to be in Spanish, yet none of the content was in any particular language. The .de, for example, was immediately considered to be a German website, even though, again, we did not specify that it was in any particular language. One website immediately got their pages indexed, and that was a winner to me. The NOCSEMAN.xyz, the .xyz got 40% of its pages indexed within 2 hours, which is, compared to all the other websites, pretty amazing to get 40% of its pages indexed in 2 hours just by submitting one page of the website in Google Search Console URL inspection tool. Some sites were actually difficult to get their pages indexed. We all went through the same exact process to get those pages started. Some sites actually took 24 hours to get a few pages indexed, and some took days and days to get the pages indexed, even though we used the same exact process to tell Google about these pages. A few of the sites had their keyword ranked pretty quickly. Again, we targeted one unique keyword per website. Even though we used that same NOCSEMAN for the domain name, the actual site itself had one keyword per website. Some of the sites took longer to rank, and some actually failed pretty miserably. It seemed like it was kind of random, but maybe it wasn't. And actually, we used several different techniques and methods to see whether pages were indexed. We used the software itself. We actually also used a site colon command, and then we actually, since we had the sites verified in Google Search Console, we used Google's data as well to check indexing. So the NOCSEMAN, that keyword, is actually only in the domain name. We have proven in this particular case that Google actually reads the keyword in the domain name, because we can do a search for that word and it shows up. We also have determined that before that NOCSEMAN keyword was even mentioned publicly anywhere, and the testing was done, that the NOCSEMAN.net clearly won the contest. Then we had the .co.uk, then the .club, then the .xyz. That was based on rankings for the word NOCSEMAN. You can follow the rankings yourself by doing a search for that word in Google. We also determined that in the SEO testing that NOCSEMAN club and as a keyword ranks number 1. So we determined that the search engines, mainly Google, actually read the word in the beginning of the in the beginning of the name of the domain and at the ending of the domain. And we understand now a little bit more about the power of the keyword in the domain, because when we have a keyword that's only in the domain name, we have learned that keyword domains can rank for their keyword, especially when that keyword is only in the domain name and it does not exist anywhere else in content on the website. You may want to follow along and read some of my other case studies, other TLD related case studies. I did one a while back where I looked at Wichita.cars, Phoenix.cars, and Arizona.cars. And then I also went through and did a case study and actually went through the process of registering, creating a website in WordPress, and ranking that website within only a few hours. And that is on the nick.icu blog. Thank you very much. If you have any questions about any of the case studies, about search engine indexing and crawling, the process, or any SEO related or domain name issues, please feel free to get in touch.